Hi, guys, and welcome to the Wellness with Delaney podcast. Today, I'm sitting down with Catharine Arnston. She is the founder of Energy Bits, which is an incredible company that is just booming in the biohacking and holistic wellness space. You might recognize her from incredible conversations with really, really big biohackers like Aggie
Dave
Lau,
Asprey.
yes,
Yeah,
Dave Asprey. I mean, the
yeah,
father of biohacking, Ben
exactly.
Greenfield. So I'm really excited to have her on today. So, Catharine, thank you so much for joining.
Well, thank you, Delaney, and thank you for everyone who's listening because knowledge is power, and we want to empower you to live your best life ever. And you're going to learn how to do that with algae tablets.
Amazing. Amen. So, what is algae?
What is algae? I know, and how crazy is that I'm doing this? Well, first thing you need to know is algae was the first life on Earth almost 4 billion years ago, and it's actually what most people don't understand is that it's not a supplement. We have these tablets that look like they look like a pill, sadly, but they're not. We call them bits because they're bits of nutrition. Algae is its own food category. So, and it's found everywhere. There's two main types of algae. One is macroalgae and the other is micro. We're going to talk about micro today. But let me tell you what macroalgae is because you're familiar with that, even though you may not know that. It's also known as seaweed or dulse or kelp. And it's only in the sea, which is why they call it seaweed. And it's still good for you because it has lots of fiber, but it has virtually no nutrition in it. Okay. So lots of fiber comes from the ocean, also has iodine, but no nutrition. Microalgae, which is what we're talking about today, is found everywhere, not just the sea, but the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the soil, your swimming pool, your aquarium. And it's grown as a agricultural crop in fresh water. I'm holding up pictures if people are watching on a YouTube. This is a spirulina farm and this is a chlorella farm. So you need to know, first of all, algae is food and microalgae is an agricultural crop that is grown, 99% of it is grown in Asia. Most people aren't familiar with microalgae because it's not grown here, not to the extent, I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar agricultural crop in Japan, Taiwan, Korea, in India. It's massive, but you don't know about it because you don't drive by it on your way to work like you might with a wheat farm or a corn farm or something. So microalgae is the most nutrient dense food in the world compared to anything, but in contrast to macroalgae, which has virtually no nutrition. Microalgae is the most nutrient dense food in the world. The United Nations endorsed, we're going to talk about spirulina and chlorella, which are two of them, but I'll get to that in a minute. The United Nations has endorsed spirulina algae as the answer to world hunger for 50 years because it has the highest protein in the world. We all know that we need protein. You need protein for your skin, for your organs. If you're on a GLP-1, you definitely need protein. There is nothing in the world with more protein than algae. Spirulina ours has 64%. Chlorella, which is the other algae we sell, has 60%. So very high in protein. It's also endorsed by NASA as being the most nutrient dense food in the world. And they say 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of vegetables. 1 to 1,000. And we know that people have a hard time eating vegetables. They either don't like them or they give them gas or they go bad or they can't travel with them. So this is your answer. You get all the nutrition found in vegetables times 1,000 in an effortless way, because the best part about algae, because even though, as I mentioned, it's an agricultural crop, we grow it as I mentioned, in fresh water. Then we dry it without high heat, which is really important because it preserves all the nutrients. We dry it into a powder, and then we press them into these little tablets that we affectionately call bits because they're bits of nutrition. They're about the size of a baby aspirin. So every single one of these tablets, look how tiny they are if you're watching, every single one has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables. That's about a pound of vegetables. So while I'm talking to you right now, I just had a plate of vegetables. So one tablet has the same amount of nutrients as a plate of vegetables. This makes it effortless for you to get your protein, your chlorophyll, your phytonutrients, all of your electrolytes, everything in seconds. Now, I like to chew them, but you can swallow them if you don't like the flavor, or you can blend them with a smoothie. I will say most people do swallow the spirulina because it's so chewy because of the high essential fatty acids and the high protein. But if you like it, as I do, you can chew them and chew them all. I put sea salt on them, or I have them with sliced strawberries or pistachio nuts. My favorite is salt and vinegar. So again, reminding you that algae is food. So within microalgae, which we now know is food, we now know is the most nutrient dense food in the world. And it also has virtually no fiber. So again, contrasting to macroalgae, high fiber, no nutrition. Microalgae, high nutrition, virtually no fiber. Spirulina is actually a bacteria. It has zero fiber. So if you are having difficulties with fiber, we got your answer. We got your back. We got spirulina. Now, the two that I've mentioned so far of microalgae are spirulina and chlorella. There are tens of thousands of strains of algae. Spirulina is one strain of blue-green algae, and chlorella is one strain of green algae. I designed all the packaging and I put them in colors because I want you to know that spirulina, like I mentioned, is a blue-green algae, so it's in a blue package. We call ours energy bits because it gives you energy, and we'll talk about that next, about what the different algae do. And chlorella is packaged in a green package because it's a green algae. It only has one pigment, which I'm sure you're familiar with, called chlorophyll. Spirulina has the chlorophyll, but it also has a blue pigment in it called phycocyanin, which I'm sure you've never heard of before. It doesn't exist anywhere else in nature, only in spirulina. And I'm going to spell it for you, Phycocyanin, because phycocyanin is proven to kill cancer cells. Ta-da! So we know 1 in 2 people now are getting cancer. And for women, the vast majority of cancers are breast cancer. I started the company because my sister had breast cancer, and her oncologist recommended she change her diet to an alkaline diet to help with her healing. So I helped her research what that was. It turned out to be a plant-based diet, which led me to algae, the most alkaline, nutrient-dense plant in the world. And 15 years later, here I am with a national brand trying to help everyone be healthier with something that's a gift to us from Mother Nature. Mother Nature created algae, so I can't take credit for algae. I can take credit for growing it so carefully that we preserve all the nutrients for you so they can go to work to protect you, whether it's your brain, your beauty, your stomach, your sleep, your heart. There's nutrients found in algae that aren't found anywhere else in the world, in any food group, but you have to be careful with what the algae, where the supplier is and how they create the algae, because a lot of them use high heat, which destroys many of these important nutrients, like the one I just talked about, phycocyanin, because they're and there's another one that protects your mitochondria called superoxide dismutase, and those are both deactivated by high heat. But we don't use high heat, so ours is very active. So just a summary again, algae is a food. You have macroalgae, which is the stringy stuff in the ocean, lots of fiber, no nutrition. The teeny tiny microalgae, it's called microalgae because it's microscopic. You can't see it. It's everywhere. There's tens of thousands of strains. Spirulina and chlorella are the two most popular, well-known strains, but they one is a blue-green, one is a green, and they do completely different things in your body, which I'll get to in a minute.
Absolutely. And I love that you touched on the fact that not all spirulina and chlorella supplements are the same. I guess supplements, more of a bioactive whole food. I guess would that be the
Yes,
correct? Yeah.
that's a great way to a bioactive whole food. Oh, I like
Thank
that.
you. That's my
I'm gonna
favorite
use that.
term. Use
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
heck yeah.
yeah.
But they're not all the same. So if you're buying one at the grocery store, you can't guarantee that it's not with all this high heat, how it's processed. And so you're not going to get the same benefit where with energy bits, because you aren't putting it through that high heat, you're preserving the benefits and you're not losing all of those just amazing body reactions that we're going to talk about next. So I guess I would love to hear. So we have the spirulina and the chlorella. We have a
Yes,
little bit understanding of the difference now. One's the blue green, one's the green.
yeah.
What are some of the key differences and impacts of each of the different types of algae?
Absolutely. So spirulina is known as an energizing algae, which is why we call ours energy bits. Although we do have a second brand of spirulina that's called beauty bits, and it has a pretty pink flower on it. And the reason why there's two is, as I mentioned earlier, I started the company because my sister had breast cancer. So women's health has always been my number one priority. But we found that women just didn't like the packaging. And my girlfriend said, you got to make it pink and give it a cute name. So I did, called it Beauty Bits. And it turns out that spirulina has more collagen in it than collagen powder. So it's going to help your skin and your hair and your joints better. And by the way, collagen is not a sustainable crop, and algae is. So number one, spirulina, high protein, high collagen, and high B vitamins, which convert the protein into energy. So it gives you some energy. Now, it also contains nutrients. This one called superoxide dismutase, also known as SOD, which protect your mitochondria. Now, mitochondria are what generate energy for you. They generate energy for everything, not just running to the grocery store or doing a great Pilates class, which I know you just did before our talk. It's to propel everything in your body, for your neurotransmitters, for your lymphatic system, for your heart to beat, your lungs to work. Everything requires cellular energy, and mitochondria are what make that for you. And spirulina has a nutrient in it that protects the mitochondria, because as you age, even after 30, your mitochondria get damaged, they die. And what that does is it gives your body less cellular energy. So this leads to brain fog, weight gain, dysbiosis, difficulty sleeping, fatigue. Fatigue is a huge one for people. So when I say that spirulina gives you energy, it's not like what you get from a stimulant, which gives you a burst and then a crash. This and that's like putting paper on a fire, right? You get a burst and then it's gone. Spirulina is like putting a log on the fire. It's very steady energy because it's at the cellular level. It is not a stimulant. You could take this right before bed. We generally recommend spirulina in the morning or the afternoon or before a workout, because it satisfies your hunger. By the way, anyone who's ketogenic, it's ketogenic. It's zero carbs. If you're fasting, it does not interfere with your fast. And Dr. Mindy Peltz have been on her podcast, and she'll confirm that. So it's really a great way to start your day, satisfies your hunger. If you can swallow water, you can get what you need, your nourishment for your day, in seconds. There's 1 calorie per tablet. So if you're counting calories, as I mentioned, zero carbs, 40 vitamins and minerals. We suggest 10 tablets of spirulina in the morning is kind of a good sustainable amount on a daily basis. But if you are interested in better performance for your work or your workout, or a therapeutic amount, that would be closer to 20 to 30. Now, we sell them in large bags on our website with 1,000 tablets. And by the way, 1,000 tablets, if you took 10 a day, a bag would last you 3 months. And I did the math and calculated that the bag has the equivalent nutrition as 551 pounds of vegetables. That's about 30 grocery carts of vegetables right here. Crazy, right? So it's very concentrated nutrition. I call it your nutritional insurance, because if you at least take 10 a day, whatever you eat for the rest of the day, you have gotten what you need from a protein basis, essential fatty acid basis, protecting the antioxidants that protect your mitochondria. You're good to go. And more is always better. And certainly, if you're fighting any kind of health condition, we would encourage you to take 30. Now, if you took 10 a day and you bought the large bag, and we have a discount code for you at the end of the podcast, that works out to $1 a day. And I did the math because I want people to understand this is affordable nutrition. The shelf life is 3 years. What vegetable lasts 3 years? If it's anything, if it lasts 3 years, run as far and as fast as you can from it, because it's pumped with something. We don't put any preservatives in here. Algae actually is an interesting crop. It never technically dies. If the growing conditions deteriorate, it just goes into a rest mode, a dormant mode, and then it will start growing again. So you could keep this for 10 years if you wanted, 20, and it will, as long as it's not open or exposed to heat, it's got all the nutrition. It may not taste very good, but after 10 or 20 years. But anyway, so spirulina is very energizing for the brain, for your body, for your mitochondria, very protective for your mitochondria, satisfies your hunger, whether you're on a weight loss program, GLP, or you just want to be aware of what you're eating. Because if you've gotten your nutrition in the morning or the afternoon, that 2 o'clock slump, then what, you can, loosen up the strings a little bit and treat yourself, because it's 80/20, right? You still have to treat yourself to things that make you feel good and enjoy life. So that's spirulina. Energizing, great for fitness, great for sports. We fuel NHL teams, Olympic teams, our NHL players, just to show you there's no upper limit on this stuff because it is food. They put 75 tablets of spirulina in their smoothie before a hockey game because they need a lot of focus on the ice. They need lots of energy for those spurts across the ice. And then they put 75, which I'll get to next, but chlorella in their smoothie after the game, because as you're going to find out next, chlorella is a detoxing wellness algae. So one of the things that detoxes is lactic acid. So they don't have as sore muscles. It also builds your immune system. And any athlete knows that if you push yourself, whether you're running a marathon or you're in a competitive sport, it's hard on your immune system. It's hard on your body. So this will keep your immune system strong so that you don't get that cold and miss that game and all that sort of stuff. So spirulina, nourishing, great for hunger, focus, energy, meal replacement. Could be easily 30 would be a meal replacement, and take it in the morning, afternoon, or before sports. So the secondary algae is chlorella, which, as I mentioned, is a wellness algae. It will not give you energy. Doesn't matter how many you take, will not give you energy, will not satisfy your hunger. It builds your immune system and pulls out toxins. Its claim to fame is that it has the highest chlorophyll in the world. Spirulina has the highest protein in the world. Chlorella is called chlorella because of the chlorophyll. Now, you may not be aware that and chlorophyll has very, very many healing properties, and we're going to talk about all the properties, healing properties and wellness properties in chlorella, but one of them is this high chlorophyll. And you may not have ever known this, but the chemical composition of chlorophyll is virtually identical to your hemoglobin. So when you take anything with chlorophyll, lots of people are taking chlorophyll water, which is fine. Chlorella has 25 times more chlorophyll than chlorophyll water. So, and it has all these great nutrients. But chlorophyll, because it's like your blood, it builds your blood. They've used it for centuries when they were doing surgeries, even up as recently as World War II. If they ran out of blood for transfusions, they would give the injured liquid chlorophyll and they would heal just as fast. Now, the problem is our food supply is so damaged, and this is why people are getting sick and having chronic diseases and gaining weight. First, the food that we eat, even if you're eating organic and even if you're eating vegetables, does not have nutrition in it anymore. It's full of fiber and sugar because they've hybridized everything, but it's not the nutrition that your grandparents had. So you're not getting chlorophyll in any concentration that has any kind of healing capability, but you get it from algae because it has, especially chlorella, has the highest chlorophyll, 500 times more chlorophyll than arugula. So, just want to let you know. By the way, I forgot to mention, anyone who is a carnivore, algae's for you too, because one of the reasons people go carnivore is because they've had an autoimmune, they've had a leaky gut, and very often leaky gut was caused by lectins or oxalates, which are tiny proteins that are found in certain plants like spinach and kale and almonds. Well, the reasons why they're in these plants is because evolutionarily, the plants developed them to protect themselves from bugs and predators, because they do the same thing to their tummies too. But algae is not a land plant. It came from the ocean. It's never developed lectins or oxalates. So carnivores, listen up. Paleo people, there's nothing more ancestral than algae, first life on Earth. Algae is for everyone. And in fact, I recently wrote a little book called The Algae Love Story, because when it will love your body back to health. And I started the company because I was loving my sister, helping her get back to health. It is as close to a miracle as you could find if it wasn't documented so well in science. You're not going to believe this, but there are 100,000 studies documenting all the benefits of algae, whether it's for your skin, your hair, your weight loss, your energy, your mitochondria. 100,000. You can't argue with 100,000. So, but these scientists don't know how to talk to normal people like us. So none of this information gets out to you. So that's why I'm so happy to do these podcasts. But back to chlorella, very high chlorophyll, which builds your blood. Also, chlorophyll is very alkaline. I started on this journey because my sister's oncologist advised her to have an alkaline diet because it would help with her healing. Why is an alkaline diet so important? And why is chlorophyll the probably most alkaline food in the world? Well, turns out there's a German scientist by the name of Otto Warburg who won a Nobel Prize in the 1940s, for discovering cancer cannot exist in cells that are slightly alkaline. There's a scale of 0 to 14, 0 being acidic, 14 being alkaline. There is no food that is more alkaline. Algae is about at 7. There is nothing more alkaline than algae, and so it will help bring alkalinity into the cells, because when they are slightly alkaline, so that would be 7.1, that indicates there's oxygen in the cell, so that cancer can't take hold. So I think this is one of the reasons why my sister's oncologist wanted her to have an alkaline diet, and it's very, very important for you too. Also, your blood needs to be even more alkaline, 7.34. And the trouble is, we eat so much acidic food, dairy, processed foods, meat, alcohol, those are all acidic. And if you eat too much acidity, it would change the pH of your blood. So your body is so intelligent, it goes red alert, acidity. Well, you probably don't hear it saying that, but that's sort of what's going on. And so it pulls the minerals that are stored, calcium, magnesium, potassium, in your bones. They're stored in your cells. They're stored in your organs. It pulls it immediately into the bloodstream to balance out that acidity. But when you do that too many times, it wears down your immune system. It causes osteoporosis, especially in women. So you want to try to avoid that from happening. So you can neutralize all that with both the algae, but particularly chlorella, because it has such high chlorophyll. So chlorophyll, by the way, also kills bacteria. There used to be gum called Chlorets, which was chlorophyll. It kills bacteria in your mouth if you chew them, in your colon, everywhere. By the way, poor old algae gets the bum rap when you see it, closing your favorite beach. And it's only showed up because it's the cleanup crew. You can't see the toxins or the bacteria in the water, but they're there, and that's what drew the algae to it, because it absorbs the toxins and kills bacteria. And it does the same thing in your body too. So when you see an algae bloom, you should thank it, because it's cleaning it up for you, and it's cleaning up your body at the same time when you take it. The other main thing with chlorella is that unlike spirulina, which actually has 0 cellulose wall, as I mentioned, it's a bacteria, it's not even a plant. And the reason why that's important is because it gets into your bloodstream almost immediately. But so different from spirulina, chlorella has the hardest cellulose wall in the entire plant kingdom. There's 2 important things to know about that hard cell wall. One is it attaches to toxins, heavy metals, glyphosate, pesticide. We're sending some samples out right now to first responders in LA to help them pull out the smoke that they're inhaling, because that's very toxic. So chlorella's hard cell wall removes everything. It's called chelating. It attaches to the toxins and pulls them out. This is really important because the average adult in North America now has up to 700 toxins in them. And the way I describe toxins, by the way, I think since World War II, there's something like 20,000 or some ridiculous number of chemicals that have been added to our world, our food, clothing, production processes. So we're bombarded with toxins and chemicals. And the FDA, I think, has tested like 200 of these 20,000 or 10,000. But here's the thing about toxins. When you think about raindrops, let's say you want to fill a glass with water and you think, because it's raining, you think, well, it's going to take me forever, because one drop and then one drop and then one drop. And it takes, everyone is a teeny little drop. But eventually, you left that glass out there long enough, it would fill up with raindrops. Well, sadly, the same thing happens with toxins. And when they test these things, they never test them together. They test them in isolations. And even though they approve something, well, that's still a toxin, one drop of toxin. And then you got another drop of toxin from the smoke, and then another drop of toxin from that soy bar that you just ate, and then another drop of toxin because you're near the fires in LA. And eventually your body fills up with toxins, just like that glass of water did with raindrops. Raindrops are good for you. Toxins are not. And our immune systems were not built to sustain this kind of toxic load. You can't do a detox once a year. You can't do a detox once a month, even once a week. You should be detoxing every single day. There are other ways to support detox, and chlorella supports all those as well. Things like saunas are fantastic. Your body removes toxins 4 ways: sweat, breath, urine, and bowel movements. Algae, chlorella algae helps you with all of them. Sweat. So when you're sweating, you're eliminating water, and so you're just fueling the detox. So algae, chlorella is the cleanup crew. It grabs all those toxins that have been released from the sweating and gets rid of them. Breath, same thing. It's pulling out these toxins to allow you to breathe them out. And also with sweating, when you go into a sauna, we generally actually recommend spirulina before the sauna because it does have chlorophyll in it as well. But it will get into your body faster. But definitely take the chlorella after the sauna to pull out all those toxins that were released or evacuated from the sauna. Same thing with cryotherapy. A lot of or cold plunges. Take spirulina before the cold plunge, the chlorella after the cold plunge, because it will stimulate what's called apoptosis, which is and autophagy, which is the cleaning up of your cells. And so when it's cleaning up, like, the garbage has to go somewhere. So let's give it to chlorella to pull it out. It's like going to a Taylor Swift concert, and at the end of the concert, like, the floor is sticky and there's garbage everywhere. Just imagine chlorella kind of like the Roomba cleaning up all that junk in your trunk, as I call it. So you need to be detoxing on a regular basis, and chlorella is the most effective way. By the way, both algae are safe for every age group: newborns, children, teenagers, adults, athletes, grandparents, even pets. Your pets will go crazy over this stuff. And they're smarter than we are. If they don't want to eat something, they intuitively know it's not good for them. Now, some people do better on spirulina and some like on chlorella, because we actually have another brand called Vitality Bits, which is a blend of the two algae. And I always recommend don't start with that one, because you may be one of these people that likes spirulina better than chlorella, or vice versa. But if you start with a blended tablet, you'll never know. So chlorella, again, the chlorophyll builds your blood. It kills bacteria. It attaches the toxins and pulls them out. It has all of the nutrients that your immune system needs to build. By the way, your immune system, 80% of it is in your gut, and most of it is created for you, support by bacteria in your gut. And the bacteria need fiber to survive and to be healthy. And chlorella has fiber in it because it has that hard cell wall, which is cellulose. So it's really good for your gut biome. The other amazing thing about chlorella is it stimulates what is called peristalsis. You know it as a bowel movement, or your trip to the bathroom. So a lot of people, when they are on eating too much dairy or too much sugar, or they're not exercising and not enough water, or they're on medication, and let me tell you, so many people are taking so many meds. This whole constipation issue is very widespread. This will get rid of the problem. And lots of times if people take a lot of spirulina, because it has so much protein, and protein can be constipating too. I'm talking to you carnivores, you know that you're constipated, right? Okay, we can help you with that. Chlorella, not spirulina, it's chlorella that stimulates the bowel movement. So I say you got to get rid of that junk in your trunk, because if you don't have a bowel movement every day, that stuff that's in your bowel is stuff your body didn't want. So it said, no, not for me, thanks very much. And you've got to get rid of it. And if you don't get rid of it, your bloodstream keeps circulating around and pulling all the toxins back out and recirculating it. It's like having a garbage truck parked in front of your house permanently. You want to get rid of what I affectionately call the junk in your trunk, and chlorella does that. So you can see how it's very much a wellness algae. It also has the highest tryptophan in the world, which is a precursor to melatonin, and melatonin helps you with sleep. And my other sort of best biohack, in addition to algae, spirulina, and chlorella, is sleep. Sleep is it's free. It doesn't get any cheaper than free. It is so powerful, so necessary. Never apologize for going to bed early. Never, never, never. Because your body, especially women, we need more sleep. We have different bodies. We have different systems. And when you're younger, you have lots of estrogen that's changing your hormones, and that has a ripple effect. And when you get into perimenopause and menopause, and your estrogen drops, that has other effects, negative, very, very negative effects that can be corrected by these two algae, spirulina and chlorella. We can get into that. So I call chlorella your health insurance. Spirulina is your nutritional insurance. Chlorella is your health insurance. And again, 10 tablets a day. We generally recommend this one. You can take it any time of day, but for sure before bed. Because when you are sleeping, that sleep, is when you get your beauty rest, ladies. Beauty rest, your skin you need sleep for your skin too, because you get mitochondrial damage, you get sun exposure. So when you're sleeping, this is when your body goes through a detox and repair cycle. And so if you have chlorella, which has all these goodies in it that will help with your repair cycle, it has something called chlorella growth factor, which speeds up the growth of your cells. You will have a much better sleep because it has the tryptophan. You will have a trip to the bathroom in the morning, and you'll pull out the toxins that are in your brain and in your body. So they work very, very well together. I travel a lot and speak a lot, and sometimes I get room service. And after room service is gone, and I've had my breakfast, and think, wow, I'm ready to go for the day. And I thought, that's sort of like spirulina. Oh, and then I come back later on, and housekeeping has been in and cleaned up my room, and everything looks nice and tidy. I thought, that's sort of like chlorella. It's like housekeeping. So if this helps you remember the difference between the two of them, think of spirulina as room service and chlorella as housekeeping.
I love that analogy. I think that really does help people to remember which is for which, and how I love that you can take one, you can take both, you can take them together. There's an option for everyone. I personally like to take both because I love all the benefits. And so
Yes.
I recently came off of a really crazy travel season where I was not home at all last fall. And one thing that scares me a lot with flying is radiation and the exposure to radiation. Can you
Yes.
explain how your recovery bits can help mitigate that?
Well, I'm not an EFT, is it EFT? Yeah, expert, but chlorella will just pull out any toxins in your body, and you're breathing in circulated air. I mean, my dream is that we get this stuff to all the airlines, to all the people working on the planes, because think of the exposure that they have. So it's the air circulation, the garbage that you're buying to eat at the airport and on the airplane. I just finished a book called, I'm not quite finished yet, called Ultra Processed People. Oh my God, you need to read this book. It was written by a MD in the UK. And he goes through all the science of everything that's in all these processed snack foods, sandwiches. It's not just the calories and the garbage ingredients like canola oil. It's what they do to your biome, to your gut, causing and everything. It messes up all your signaling. So it's the air, it's the garbage food, it's the toxins that are, whether it's the radiation, the fumes from the plane taking off. It's just, and I'm the same way. I just travel nonstop. I keep a suitcase pre-packed, literally, and the biggest thing in it. Well, I take my algae, and I have this really adorable. So anyone who's traveling, I just went on Amazon. I have this very small kettle. I'm Canadian. I live in Boston for 35 years now. I'm in Miami, but Canadian, we're very British, and so we drink tea a lot. So and it was hard to get tea at any time of day in my rooms, or by the time I arrived, it got cold. So I bought this for $30 on Amazon. This little, looks like a thermos, but it's a little portable kettle. So I have my kettle. I drink yerba mate or green tea. My algae tablets. I carry pistachio nuts, and I can go anywhere, and I'm covered. I'm covered for food, for nutrition, for health, for sleep. So you've got to be a bit of a warrior when you are a road warrior, and find ways to you work around, because we're being fed poison. It's just, and it takes a while to truly understand that, and it's a money grab. Don't be tantalized by the fancy packaging and the ads. They just want to sell you stuff. I wasn't planning on building a company. I just wanted my sister to get better, to heal from cancer. And then when I helped her, and then I learned about plant-based nutrition and alkaline diets, I thought, man, this was like 16 years ago. Nobody was talking about it. I thought, somebody should do something. Well, maybe I could. So I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I got the health coaching certificate in 2019. So long time ago. And then I just kept going. 2009. Was it 2009? A long time ago. And then I discovered a really deep dive on algae, because I found out most people didn't like vegetables, or it was too much work, or gave them gas, or they went bad. They didn't live near a grocery store, and I got all that. Or their kids wouldn't eat them, or their husbands wouldn't eat them. Everyone has issues with vegetables. So you never have, if you don't like vegetables, or you have all these issues with them, you never have to eat another vegetable again in your life, because you get the nutrients from spirulina, and you get the fiber and the chlorophyll and the bowel movements from the chlorella. Your grocery bill will go down. You don't need supplements. By the way, 90% of those, there are some exceptions, but most of those supplements are made from extracts that don't exist in nature, and they're often made with synthetics that don't exist in nature, and your body's absorbing about 5% of them. And the way I address supplements is like, you can listen to a grade 3 soloist if you want, maybe one playing the piano and one playing a violin, but they're going to be off key, and it's going to be like listening to 5 radio stations at the same time. Or you can listen to the symphony. The symphony has a conductor who has experts who bring all their harmonies and their expertise together to create this huge, amazing, synergistic, powerful, experiential experience that you can't get from individual, poorly taught young soloists. Algae is the symphony. All of those individuals, you could take all those supplements, but they won't harmonize the way that food does. And there is no better food than algae. And you can even cause yourself harm sometimes. You have to think, do I take the fish oil with this, or do I take the vitamin E with the vitamin C? And there's so many complications. They all go expire at different times. You don't ever have to work about anything with algae, because Mother Nature has done all the work for you. She's put all these components. By the way, in this book I reference, I have to get his quote right. I think he said, in food, there are up to 25, it might even be 250, but I think it's 25,000 compounds or nutrients. 25,000. We only know maybe of 100, and algae has them all, by the way. We only had room for 40 on our charts, but it's got them all. And versus one of these ultra processed foods where they strip everything out, they bleach everything, they add chemicals to it, it's completely industrialized food, and then they add back a couple of things like niacin in such small quantities, and they advertise that as being a great addition. Your body can't even absorb it because it's fake. So supplements, you can get rid of most of your supplements. Please stop taking fish oil. Fish oil goes rancid by the time you buy it. And this is the other reason why I like algae so much. It has these nutrients in it that protect your mitochondria, and your brain has the most mitochondria per cell, 2 million per cell. But guess what? Your brain has is 20% fat. It's the highest concentration of fat in your body. Fat oxidizes. Your brain is so exposed to oxidation and mitochondrial damage at every age. So you need things that are going to protect you from that, whether you're 20, 30, 40. After 40, you definitely need it. And algae has all these nutrients, whether it's the essential fatty acids or these antioxidants that protect your mitochondria. And it's all documented in science, like I said. So you can replace things, you can eat less, spend less, so you get more for less. And at $1 a day, you can't lose. And as I said, sleep is the things that are truly good for you either are free or cost very little. Sleep, breath, movement, sunlight, love. can't do anything about the love, but I can help you with most of the other things. And algae at $1 a day, if you take 10 tablets, is as close to free as you're going to get for good, solid, pure nutrition. We do third-party lab tests, by the way, here in the United States, because we're the only algae that's sold through doctor's office. We don't sell through mass chain stores. We sell on our website, energybits.com, or biohacking centers or longevity centers. And the docs need to see that the algae is pure and that we have tested with a third party, an FDA-approved lab, to confirm the nutrients are what we say they are, because they've done tests in something like 30 or 40% of supplements when they are tested to see if what they say is in there, it's not in there. And alternately, there's stuff in there that they didn't tell you about, which causes havoc. So that's why athletes are so careful and often don't take supplements, because there could be a banned substance. Algae's food, so you don't have to worry about it. And the way we make algae, when you grow algae, it's not like growing broccoli or carrots. It's like making wine. And wine is affected by the angle of the sun, number one. We grow ours in Taiwan, which has the best, highest quality algae in the world. Although I drew a line across the earth from Taiwan to see where I would get in America. I got in the middle of Florida. So my long-term plan is to build an big old algae farm here in Florida, so I can supply everybody in America with their own algae. But anyway, so the sun affects the quality of the algae, and the production process affects everything in wine. And with algae, it affects everything in algae. We don't use high heat, so we preserve all the nutrients. I can almost promise you that any of the cheaper algae that you can find and you'll find them, spirulina and chlorella, at Target, Trader Joe's, those are all made in probably in China or India, and they are low priced, so they have to sell more. So they cut corners and they use high heat to dry their algae, which deactivates some of these critical nutrients. I tell people it's like buying a beautiful car with no engine in it. Looks great, doesn't do anything. That's my opinion of a lot of the cheaper algae that are on the marketplace. But when you get something as high quality as ours, you need less of it and you get more benefits. So it's like anything. When you go for high quality, initially the sting it hurts, but then you'll see why it works.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so many supplements are so highly unregulated, and it can make people really scared and take a lot of trust out of the consumer because they're just trying to do something good for themselves. Yet they're constantly being sold little things here and there. And what I love is the integrity that you guys do have at Energy Bits to provide a product that actually does what it says it does. And I
Yeah,
found you guys when I listened to Biohacking Bestie, and I was just having some skin issues, some like leaky gut, some inflammation, nothing severe, but like for me, I always see every symptom as a cue, right? So if something's popping
absolutely.
up, yeah, that's my body communicating with me. And I'm like, okay, how are we going to get to the bottom of this? So I immediately bought Energy Bits and Recovery Bits and saw so many benefits. I love that you get all those plant nutrients without the oxalates, the phytates, the lectins, all those things that are going to strip your minerals, attack your gut, and take your energy away from you. So I love that.
Yeah.
And I loved the beauty component because I think that truly when people are really in good health, they have a beautiful glow, that kind of effervescent radiance. So how does your brand, because I know you also rebranded one of your products as Beauty Bits for the
Beauty
women.
bits, right?
So
Yes.
how does it impact beauty?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a quick little story. One of my team was over yesterday. She's a mom and has two daughters. One I think is 12 and the other one's 16. One of them takes the spirulina, the beauty bits, and the chlorella every single day, and her skin is glowing. The other daughter refused to take them, and she has acne like no tomorrow. And we're just waiting for the younger daughter to sort of wake up and smell the roses. So beauty, there's all kinds of products that you can put on your skin, but the reality is your skin is an organ, just like all your other organs. And in fact, it's your largest organ. And just like all your other organs, it is fed by your bloodstream. And the nutrients, as I say, beauty is an inside job because it's what you put into your body that gets circulated through your bloodstream. And again, remember, both the algae are alkaline and they build your blood. This is feeding your skin from the inside. This is feeding your skin what the nutrients it needs. And what does it need? Well, it needs collagen. Spirulina has more collagen than collagen powder. So that's number one. You also need elastin. Elastin is like the structure that holds up your skin. Think of it like scaffolding. And so, but it can be damaged by the elastin can be damaged by toxins and by excess calcium. So they cause the elastin to get damaged, which causes to fall, which causes wrinkles. So, and there's a vitamin I didn't mention because there's almost too much to talk about algae. I could talk about it for 4 hours and still not cover it all. There's a vitamin called K2 that pulls out excess calcium from soft tissue like your skin and moves it into your bones where it won't be doing any damage. Well, the daily requirement of that is in the chlorella. So that's one of the things that it does. So it's building your collagen, it's building your elastin. Oh, I forgot to mention, chlorophyll acts as a sun protector. Okay, so it's a natural. I've had Irish interns working for me, and normally they were out for 5 minutes, they'd get sunburn. Never happened. No sunburns when they were taking the algae every single day. It's alkaline, which kills blemishes. There's different kinds of blemishes. There's some that are hormonal. We won't address those, but other blemishes are often caused by bacteria. Again, chlorophyll kills bacteria, so it clears up your bacteria that is on various surfaces. So, and protein. Protein is sort of related to collagen, but we need protein for everything, for skin, for organs, for everything. It also improves your eye. The retina is actually considered the front part of your brain, and they found out that there are certain diseases of the eye that are early indicators that you will have heart disease, because the brain has the most mitochondria. Second is actually women's eggs, and the third is your heart. Basically, high mitochondria are where the greatest energy needs are. So because this has nutrients, antioxidants that protect your all of your mitochondria, it helps with your eyes and your hair. Your hair is protein, keratin, right? So people ask me, do you have extensions in your hair? It's like, no, this is all me, and I don't use Botox. And anyone's watching me on YouTube, I'm 69 this year, and I don't, as I say, I don't have any Botox. Everything moves around like it's supposed to be. Someone asked me if they were my own teeth. Yes, they're my own teeth. I don't have any. And if you chew it like I do, it kills bacteria, which prevents cavities. So the effortless nature of it should be part of your beauty routine. In the mornings, you take your spirulina in the morning when you're maybe putting some different cleansing and creams on your face, and then at night when you're cleansing before bed, I would recommend you take, we have these bags and we have canisters. Put a little canister or a tin by your bed and take them before bed. It'll help. It'll get your beauty rest. Part of beauty is getting repair, and part of getting repaired is getting beauty or getting sleep. And so the chlorella helps with that. So, and it just pulls out toxins. Any kind of toxins, you're going to still see cellular damage, where you can't see cellular damage in your organs, but you can see it in your skin. And if you have any kind of injury or surgery, doesn't matter whether it's cosmetic surgery, knee surgery, doesn't matter. Chlorella speeds up the healing of your body. So, and we've had baseball players who've had surgery, shoulder surgery. Their doctors couldn't believe how fast they recovered. We had people with LASIK surgery. They were told it'd be weeks before they had clear vision. Within days, they were fine. So, it's almost too good to be true if it wasn't documented in science. And so that's why actually this year I just got my PhD in natural health. And again, I was 68 when I got it, but who does that? Clearly my brain's working. And so ladies, don't fear aging. Aging does not mean declining. It can be if you don't know the rules of the road, if you don't have your biohacks and your stacks. And algae, spirulina, and chlorella are two of the best biohacks to add to your stack to keep you youthful, engaged, energized, because you will find times in your life where the fatigue just settles in, the brain fog, and we can help get you out of that by nourishing your brain, nourishing your mitochondria, and get you back on track. Because we live longer than men. The reality is we live longer than men, but we want to live well if we're going to be living longer. And you have to learn what is needed by your body at different stages in your life. And most of you may be younger than 40, but the trouble is symptoms don't usually show up until they've been going on at the cellular level for 10 years. So you could be 20 and not have any symptoms till 30, or maybe you're 30 and you won't have any symptoms till 40. It's like an iceberg. The symptom is just the tip, and the damage has been going on for a very long time, but you can't see it. So it's just like building your bank account. Little bits every day, every week, every month, cumulatively add up to a nice, healthy life in your later years. If we can get you back on track or protect you so you never fall off track now, then it's like an insurance policy. It's like a bank account. And at $1 a day, there's no reason why you can't afford it, whatever your income level is. And your body will thank you. Your skin will be glowing. Your hair will be full. Your digestion will improve. Your sleep will improve. All metrics that are, you should be checking off. And as you mentioned, Delaney, when you have symptoms, don't be angry, be grateful, because it's your body trying to get your attention that something isn't quite right. And if you take, and some people do need medication, so I'm not dissing that, but they very often just help you get through the symptoms. We want to help you address what's really the root cause. And that is usually at a cellular level. It's a holistic level. It could be an emotional thing. It could be trauma left over from when you were a child. It's just I'm a Reiki healer too, by the way. So I mean, I don't practice, but I am all about energy. And so no surprise that we're called energy bits, right? This is very high energy food. This is very holistic food. You can't get one ingredient unprocessed, raw, every nutrient that your body needs, all created as a symphony for us from Mother Nature. And I'm the orchestra leader, so I'm bringing you the best. I'm like the Boston Symphony Orchestra leader, so I'm bringing you the very best of what Mother Nature has crafted for us. And she's a lady too, and we know we always work in the background, women, we always do more. And I'll tell you one more funny thing just about women. So you know how your genes, half come from the men and half from the women. And we didn't address mitochondria much in this call. Maybe I can come back and do a deep dive on mitochondria. But mitochondria are where everything counts. Mitochondria are everything for you, everything. So keeping them alive and healthy is critical. And guess what? All of the DNA, they have their own DNA, by the way, and it all comes from the women. Not a drop the DNA comes from men. And I sort of laugh because mitochondria are always working in the background. You're not conscious of it. They're making everything happen and work well, just like women. How typical, right? So we
Absolutely.
need to support our female mitochondria and give them what they need, because they can't reach out and grab the right groceries, but you can. And I'm here to help support you with that.
Yeah, it's like mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, kind of like women are the powerhouse of the family. We
Right?
really do glue things together in such a nurturing and beautiful way. So why not nurture our bodies in a beautiful way and give back to our bodies? Because I think women have such a divine creation. I mean, we are
Oh,
the
totally.
gender, we bring life into the world, and our bodies were made to nurture and to feed and all these things. And what a beautiful gift and also a responsibility. So let's set our not just our bodies, but our kids and our grandkids and the generations that will come from us up for success by the way we fuel our bodies. And that's something that I'm so passionate about. I'm really glad that I found things like energy bits and biohacking at such a young age in my 20s, where I've never felt pressure to get work done. I've never had to get any injectables, anything like that. And I feel better in my late 20s than I ever have before. So now my heart is to help women and girls be on that path, hopefully even younger than when I found it, but if not, wherever they are. And I think that energy bits are so simple, and that's what I love. It's a
Yeah.
simple solution, but it's profound. In a world where biohacking can be very inaccessible to people, it can seem expensive, futuristic. There's a lot of intensity. So I guess I would love to know, what do you think about this whole movement of like tech-driven biohacking and all the money that goes into it?
Well, and I don't, um, I think it's great. But the other thing is that a lot of biohacking, and we're two exceptions of this, is it's a very male-dominated industry, like a lot of things like venture capital and finance, um, and and there's so much to do, but and so they're great, and they are usually based on something natural anyways. Red light therapy. I have 3 red lights at home. Um, where did red light therapy come from? From the sun. The Indias in you know, people in India 2 or 3,000 years ago would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do their yoga practice because that was one of the times when the red light was strongest because the blue light hadn't really come up yet. So, but we live in a very urban world, indoors, and the media has fed us lies, frankly, about how damaging the sun is. We need the sun. You need it. You don't need to be in high noon for 3 hours, frying your body because that's not healthy either. But we need the sun. We need it for circadian rhythm. We need it for D3. We need it for emotional support. We need it in many, many ways. And red light won't replace the natural sun, but that's where the red light therapy came from. Cryotherapy came from cold plunges. The Nordics, have been doing cold plunges in the ocean for forever. And what cold plunge does, you could even just start with having a rinse your hair with cold water for even 10 seconds. The cold, your body thinks you're dying. So all the blood from your body, your extremities, comes into the core to protect the core. And then when the experience is over, and while it's doing that, the blood is nourishing your organs because it's concentrated. And then when you step out, the blood flows out to the extremities, and so it's carrying rich oxygen, and you've gone through what's called apoptosis, and killed some of this what's called senescent cells, zombie cells. So there's a lot of really great devices because people can't get out to the ocean to do a cold plunge, or can't get out to do their sun salutations at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I support all of that. But the reality is the things that really move the needle are simple, simple, and either free or almost free. And they're things like I already said, sleep. I sleep with, I sleep on a grounding mask or a grounding thing that costs, I think $90. But you don't need that, but I do. I sleep with a sleep mask. You can go to CVS and get one for $5. You can make one if you want. Sleeping in a dark room is very important. A cool room. So sleep is very, very therapeutic, probably more therapeutic than 90% of those devices. I'm sorry, it just is. Um, Movement. You don't have to join a gym. You could just walk outside. Your lymphatic system doesn't have a heart. Your heart has your blood flow has a heart to pump the blood around that nourish your skin and all of your organs and bring oxygen to it. Well, your lymphatic system doesn't have a heart. So it relies on movement to do that. So any kind of movement, and lymphatic system is where all the garbage trucks are dumping all the toxins in. So you want to get rid of those through sweating and elimination and all that sort of stuff. So movement is really important. Breathing, whether it's just deep breathing, being outside breathing, meditative breathing, because that's where oxygen comes from. So that doesn't cost you anything. I put algae right in there because of the affordability of taking 10 tablets a day with your discount and the large bags. $1 a day is very, very affordable. So, and the thing is, algae improves the red light and improves the cryotherapy or the cold plunges. It improves. I didn't mention sauna, but that's another thing. You don't have to have your own personal sauna. You can just go sweat, just run or jump up and down on the floor or get a rebounder or something. So, and the problem is um, there's a lot of these devices, they take a while. History shows people buy these expensive devices, they use them for a couple of months, and then the novelty wears off, and that how many people have a home gym and how many people are using the home, right? Probably about 5%. So, but you have to eat, you have to breathe, you have to sleep, you have to poop, you have to do those things. And so algae improves all of those things, and you don't actually even have to learn anything. And you don't have to remove anything. Lots of times people want to start a keto diet or a paleo diet, and they have to think of all the different foods they have to eat and what they have to eliminate. There's a lot of eliminating. You don't have to eliminate anything if you don't want to. Just add 10 spirulina in the morning, 10 chlorella at night. That's it. Just that alone will improve your health, your mental capability, your energy, everything will improve. And then maybe you'll be motivated to think about maybe eliminating some other things. So it's effortless. You can swallow water, 10 tablets in seconds. You don't have to take a trip to the cryo center. You don't have to go to the shows and learn about all the different devices and which one has which red light length, because they're all different lengths. And should I get infrared or red? It can get very complicated. And so what happens if it's too complicated, you don't do anything, right? If it's too much, you do nothing. So you don't have to learn anything. You don't have to remove anything. You don't have to change anything other than just adding the tablets. And the science is proven. So you can't argue with 100,000 studies. So I'm so proud of what we do, because there's no age limit. It's good for every single human, animal in the world. A funny story, I had a client, customer call us a couple years ago, actually. They went hiking in the Appalachian Mountains, and in the middle of the night, a bear broke into their campground, and so everybody rushed away, and they came back 2 hours later, and they had a bag of supplements. The baggie had been ripped open, but all the supplements were still on the ground, and they'd had a bag of the spirulina algae tablets. The bag had been ripped open and licked clean. So even the bears know what's good for them.
Wow. Nature knows.
Nature knows. So you can, and someone once asked me, who's my mentor? Mother Nature. Nature is always going to be there, always knows best, has been there longer than we have. We've only been on the earth for a couple million years. It's been around for 4 billion. So, and algae is the first life on earth. And again, we don't have time to talk about it, but there's science that proves that your mitochondria, which are the most important thing in your body to determine your health and your longevity, mitochondria evolved directly from algae. Absolutely directly, absolutely proven. It's called endosymbiotic theory. So that tells
Wow.
me this is one of the reasons why algae is so healing for your mitochondria. They're family. It's like, where have you been?
Yes.
Get in here.
I definitely would love to have you on to do a deep dive on mitochondria. And oh my gosh, like I'm so fascinated by that. Before we let people know where they can find you and shop you, I always love to ask the experts, what is your health goal right now?
My health goal is just to stay energized, focused on my mission, which is to bring algae to the world. It has been waiting 4 billion years. It's way overdue. So it takes a lot of energy to run a company and travel. As you know, traveling is very tiring. I'm not a spring chicken. 70 is a 1 year away for me. But so I want to be a role model also for other women, to show you that age is not a death sentence. Aging, you do not have to decline. I am so excited about my life right now and what I do. So I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm finally at this place where people don't think I'm weird, because I've been doing this for 15 years. And so it's only in the last year or two people are starting to realize, because I just refused to give up. I just kept researching more and doing more, being out there more, and they're finally seeing that I'm not only committed, but I'm giving them good science. I'm finally feeling really happy about my choice, because when I first started doing this, everyone thought I was crazy. So I'm so grateful to be here doing what I'm doing, sharing what I know, and bringing better health to everyone, especially women, in a way that's effortless, affordable, and that will change your life. It's really great.
Wow. Well, you're really pioneering or the movement. And for women, I can definitely speak for, my generation. I am so inspired. And I think you've got the role model part down. It is amazing to see women at all stages of life claiming their health, claiming their purpose, looking amazing. But that's a testament of the inside, right? And
Yeah.
I want to be you when I grow up. Like I am so inspired just by hearing everything you have to say. And I know we only scratched the surface. So we'll definitely have to schedule you to get back on to talk about some of that deep dive
Okay.
science.
All right.
So
Good stuff.
where can people find you and
Yes.
shop Energy Bits?
Yeah, well, you can go to energybits.com, ENERGY, B for boy, ITS, energybits.com. And we have a 20% discount code Delaney. So when you see the little box for a coupon code, type in Delaney. It works on everything all the time, no time limit, so don't panic. And the best value are the large bags. They have 1,000 tablets in them, but we have these really fun canisters that come with a bag inside. You only buy a canister once, and then you refill it with the bags. And we also have single pouches. Now, the bag normally is 130, and with the discount, it brings it down to 104, and that brings it down to $1 a day if you have 10 tablets. But it's still a lot of money. I get that. So you can also go to Amazon and you can buy single pouches for $6. There's 30 tablets in a pouch. So you could go there and just try them out, see if you like them, but the better value will always to come back to the energybits.com website. Now we write a blog every month. We're very active on social. We actually have two handles on Instagram. One is Energy Bits, and then we have a very girly one for Beauty Bits. She has her own personality. I call them my twins, by the way, because they're exactly the same product, but packaged differently, just to make sure people are comfortable and happy. I designed all the packaging because I want it to be really happy and inspiring for people, because I can't help you if I can't get the algae into you. So so come and visit us at energybits.com, use the discount code Delaney, or come to our Instagram. And my final thing I would just share with people is that algae isn't new. It's just new to you. And it was used 2,000 years ago by the Egyptians, 250 years ago by the Aztecs. It's been used daily by the Japanese, the Chinese, the Koreans. It's a multi-billion-dollar agricultural crop there. Remember, it's food, not a supplement. So, you didn't know about chia or kiwa or matcha or collagen powder until some company in America told you about it. So that's what we're doing with algae. It's historic. It's endorsed by international agencies like the United Nations for 50 years. But no, you weren't familiar with it because it's not grown here, and there was no incentive for anyone to teach you about it. So give it a shot. It's here to stay, and it will truly change your life. It's so very, very amazing stuff.
I can attest to that. I am truly a believer after trying it myself. I absolutely love Energy Bits and Recovery Bits. I'll make sure to put a link in the show notes where you can shop and a discount code as well. You guys make sure to check them out and let us know if you have any questions. I know we both
Yeah.
are here to help you on your health and wellness journey. And
You,
I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for listening. And Catherine, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Delaney. We'll get you some more products soon.
Oh, thank you so much. All
All
right,
right.
guys. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it to your story, tag Energy Bits, tag myself. Help us get the word out there about algae nutrition and all the amazing benefits. I will talk to you soon.